In every village, there is that one person everyone loves. The generous one. The helper. The one who never forgets his people. In Umuokpara, that man was Chidubem. He brought them meat every festival. Goats, cows, enough for the whole village to eat. They called him a blessing. But they didn't know every bite they took was part of something darker. This is the story of how one man's generosity fed more than just stomachs. It fed a covenant written in blood. The first sign of harmattan each year in Umuokpara was not the dry wind or the fine red dust that painted the roads. It was the hum of excitement that spread through the village like wildfire. Chidubem is coming home! Children would shout as they raced barefoot through narrow footpaths. The news traveled faster than the sound of his SUV's engine. Women paused their pounding of yam in mortars, wiping sweat from their brows. Men sitting under the udala tree at the village square straightened in their chairs, smiles stretching across their faces. Chidubem had become a tradition all by himself. No festival, no funeral, no wedding was complete without his arrival. And with him came the meat. Plenty of it. Some years it was a goat, other years a cow so large it barely fit in the slaughter pen. The meat would be cooked in giant pots over open fires, its aroma thick in the air, mixing with the smell of palm wine and roasted plantain. For the villagers, it was generosity. For Chidubem, it was something else entirely. When he stepped out of his SUV in fine clothes, his watch glinting under the sun, villagers called out his praise names. Oh my Hioma, the doer of good deeds. Nwa Oma Nke Iani, our good son. Chidubem would smile, handing out new naira notes to children who squealed with delight. He would greet the elders respectfully, kneeling slightly before the oldest men. Everything about him screamed success. But no one knew the real price of that success. 6 years earlier, Chidubem was a very different man. He lived in a tiny rented room in Mushin, Lagos. His spare parts business was dying. Customers had stopped coming. Each morning, he unlocked the iron shutters of his shop, dusted shelves that no longer held much, and prayed for just one buyer. Debt collectors were a constant shadow. Friends avoided him because he was always borrowing. One evening, as rain fell in thick sheets and the market grew quiet, a man appeared at his shop door. The man wore a long brown cloak despite the heat, his eyes deep and unsettling. "You are tired of struggling," the stranger said without introduction. "You want money. You want to be respected." Chidubem's heart skipped. "Who are you?" "My name is Okonta. I help people like you. But wealth is never free." They sat in the back of the shop, the rain pounding the roof like drums. Okonta spoke slowly, his words sinking deep into Chidubem's desperate mind. "There is an old stone in your village, the Ibube stone. It has been there longer than your ancestors, and the spirits that dwell there have been hungry for years." Chidubem frowned. He remembered the stories from childhood, elders warning children never to go near the black stone in the forest. Okonta leaned closer. "Feed them and they will feed you. Every year, return to your village with a goat or cow. Let the people eat the meat. But the blood is for them." Chidubem swallowed hard. "And if I do this, you will never lack. Money will follow you. Every door will open." That December, Chidubem bought a healthy white goat and returned to Umuokpara. He smiled, laughing with relatives, making everyone believe the feast was out of love. But before dawn, while the village slept, he carried a clay pot of the goat's fresh blood into the forest. The Igbo stone sat there in eerie silence, its surface carved with strange, ancient markings. He poured the blood slowly, whispering the chants Okonta had taught him. The next month his business exploded. By February he had opened a second shop. By June he owned a car. The ritual worked. Year after year, Chidubem returned with bigger animals. The villagers loved him, never questioning why he was so generous. The women cooked the meat in giant pots, laughter and music filling the square. Men drank palm wine until they staggered home. Children licked the last traces of pepper soup from their fingers. They didn't know that while they enjoyed the feast, Chidubem's true offering was already hidden in the forest, soaking into the Igbo stone. The first sign of trouble came in the 5th year. After a particularly grand New Year feast, some villagers began to have strange dreams. They spoke of dark figures sitting at the foot of their beds, whispering their names. Children screamed in the night. Old women said the air in the village felt heavier, as though unseen eyes were always watching. But when anyone suggested it might be connected to Chidubem's feasts, others quickly shut them down. "How can you speak evil about the only man who remembers us?" they would say. By the 6th year, the dreams had worsened. Some people fell ill after eating the meat. Others complained of hearing voices in the wind. A small group of elders began to watch Chidubem closely. They noticed how, after each slaughter, he disappeared before dawn. One Harmattan night, just before the new year, they decided to follow him. They trailed him deep into the forest, careful not to step on dry leaves. The air grew colder, the silence heavier. Through the trees they saw it, the Igbo stone glistening under the moonlight. Chidubem knelt before it, smearing animal blood across its carvings, chanting words no one understood. One elder gasped softly. The others pulled him back before Chidubem could hear. They had seen enough. The next morning, the elders summoned Chidubem. They told him what they had seen. He didn't deny it. Instead he smiled faintly. "You people eat my meat every year, yet you ask me how it is prepared. Do you think wealth falls from the sky? I do this for all of us. Without me, this village would still be in darkness." The elders stared in silence. To expose him would cause panic. To stay quiet might doom them all. That year's illness was the worst yet. For people died in their sleep, their faces frozen in terror. The village's joy turned to fear. It became clear that the spirits no longer wanted just animal blood. They hungered for more. Chidubem, desperate, went to Okonta in Lagos. But the old man only laughed. The spirits decide when the terms change. You fed them well. Now they want a greater feast. The next New Year, Chidubem returned with the largest cow anyone had ever seen. But the mood was uneasy. Fewer people came to the square. When the meat was ready, some refused to eat. Others took a bite but whispered silent prayers. That night the elders acted. They went to Chidubem's house, told him to leave Umuokpara and never return. "You have brought wealth, but you have also brought death," they said. Chidubem left before dawn, his SUV kicking up clouds of red dust as it disappeared down the road. Some villagers wept. Others watched in silence. In the months that followed, the strange dreams stopped. But not everything returned to normal. The village had lost its yearly feasts. Some still missed him. Some still feared that one day he would return. Years later, children still ask their parents why they no longer eat free meat at the square. And the elders always answer the same way. Not all gifts come from love. Some are bought with blood. Chidubem left Umuokpara before the first cock crowed, and the village never saw him again. The feast stopped. The laughter at the square faded. But in the quiet of Harmattan nights, some still claim to hear footsteps in the forest, the faint smell of blood in the air. They say the Igbo stone waits, and one day someone else will feed it. Remember, not all gifts come from love. Some are bought with blood. This is the gracious voice. Thank you for listening. The end.